let's get really tactical and just get a few takeaways for people from what you've learned, exploring the curious limits of the human body, adventure, all the things that we've been speaking about. If there was a couple things that are important for people to think about or to action in their lives to get healthier, to improve their well-being, to elevate their performance, what do you think might be a couple takeaways or critical things for people to think about?
So first of all, like, no question is move your body on a regular basis. Like,
right.
there is nothing. I mean, okay, maybe this is an overstatement. Like, being able to breathe is important, but like, exercise is the most powerful and versatile and broad action you can take for your physical health, your mental health. I think over the last few years, there's been a big sort of recognition that, yeah, it's not just how I feel today or if a year from now, but like when you're 70, in your 70s, in your 80s, like, what is your quality of life going to be? Not just are you alive, but can you get out of a chair?
Right.
So I've always been an endurance athlete. I put a squat rack in my basement last year because I'm like, I need to get some muscles. There's no point in having a big heart if I can't get out of bed. So anyway, exercise, again, this is not radical advice, but
right.
Really.
It's a great reminder because it's hard to get up and go for that walk or that jog or that run. Not hard, but like, it takes effort, it takes energy.
We are wired to try and conserve energy, right?
Yeah.
Like, so there's as much as we're wired to discover the unknown, we're also wired to not waste energy. So like, the couch will always feel attractive to us. And so if there's nothing else that people do, it's like, understand the stakes in terms of your present and future mental and physical health.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be, I guess the appendix or the corollary to that is, it doesn't really matter what you do, like, especially if you're coming from a place where you're not exercising regularly. It doesn't have to be zone 2, it doesn't have to be zone 4, it doesn't have to be zone 8, it doesn't have to be strength training, it doesn't have to be, just find something that you enjoy. Like, yeah. If you, whether it can be walking, eventually if that gets easy, it should be brisk walking, and if that gets easy, maybe you want to try biking or running or something. Like, find something that challenges you a little bit, but more importantly, that you will still want to do tomorrow or 2 days from now or whatever the case may be, that is not like so you're not fighting yourself every day. And you know, it's not always easy to find something that doesn't feel like a chore sometimes, but ideally you can find something that you take some pleasure in. So whether that's playing pickup basketball or taking up tennis or whatever. So that's number one. Number two, I would say, is going back to something we talked about earlier, is understanding the importance of your mental state and your internal, like, monologue, what you're telling yourself, that if you're constantly telling yourself that this is pointless, that it's not good enough, that you're not good enough, that's just going to make it hard to do everything, including exercise.
Right.
So I think those would be my sort of two chief rules.
Isn't it curious? We talked about, like, pushing the limits, and exploring the world, and all of these, you know, mental and physical challenges. Yet we land at, you know, what is it that we need to do? The basics.
Yeah, and maybe it's worth acknowledging that if you haven't exercised for 10 years, trying jogging or something like that is pushing your limits.
100%, totally.
So it's not like there's a contradiction there or anything like that. But yeah, it doesn't have, as much as I love exploring and reading the tales of, like, Ernest Shackleton or whatever like that. I mean, this is another, not to jump to a different topic, but it's like, I think I thought a lot about exploring because I was writing about it. And it's like, is exploring really only something that happens if you're the first to do something? Is it only like if you discover something new, you're exploring it? And because that's a demoralizing way of looking at it, because there aren't that many things to discover. You know, the world's pretty thoroughly mapped. But it's like, no, discovery is about prediction error. It's about discovering things that are new to you. And so that can happen. Some of my favorite adventures have been with my kids along the Humber River near where I live. Yeah. Just wandering off. There's a big sort of forest there off the trails. And going in the winter, going on snowshoes, you can really get in among the trees and climb the ravine. And it's like, this feels like adventure to me. Yeah. And it's not traveling to Papua New Guinea, which I've done and is fantastic and is an adventure, but it's like, yeah, it's going out and just seeing the world through new eyes. Having kids is maybe that's another example. It's like seeing their, like, wow, look at this, I've never seen this before. Then you remember, it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. I've stopped looking at it. Yeah. But
I love that, and just a great reminder to like adventure is accessible in our day-to-day lives, and it's all right there.
Nothing would be more depressing than to think that adventure is something that happens once a year in the summer for a week and a half, right? Like that would just make me want to, you know, cry to think that you can't have fun and adventure and exploration. There's intellectual exploration, there's reading new books, listening to new music, but even there's discovery to be had in, you know, taking a different way to work.